Alright, welcome to Raising Funds for World Domination, day number 190. So it's time for today's update. Once again, on October 14th, we got the verdict on the rent eviction case. We won, but there's possibly going to be appeal. And the other front is the Shopify Store. So there's no updates on that today. Today, I just worked on the marketing video. So I guess actually I spent quite a bit of time in the editing today. The first part is rendered and uploaded. Actually, another thing I did today, made a thumbnail for it. So there actually probably are a few extra things. It'll probably take me at least tomorrow to finish editing, and then I can get that uploaded, and then once that's done, then this item is completely finished. So other than that, we'll continue on with the regular content, which is work on the terminal block mining simulation game. No Clue says hi, ? Bye. See you later. Have a good night. Orthoplex 64, how's it going? Alright, so last night we left off with I was adding the scroll bar, and I guess the offset is not correct. Who is this? What have you done with Robert? Oh, this is a guest stream from an unknown mysterious individual. Ivan's Braukansis says ... Let me fix my microphone here. So the issue here is the scroll bar is not appearing at the right location. Rick Brown, James says, Happy Halloween. Yeah, I almost forgot. It was Halloween. So this should actually be minus. Well, it's almost looking better. Oh, that's pretty good. But the issue is it doesn't appear by default. Robert finally embraced his true identity. Yeah. Where's Robert? Did you kidnap him? It's a secret. Mr. Robot? It's Mr. Robert. So I think the reason it doesn't show up is because it's using there's not enough information passed into this function. There's the width. Signed long. There is no signed longs in Java. This thing is very itchy to wear. Static cast long. Yeah, still not the right language. There must be, there's like one variable in here that's not right, I think. Maybe. Okay, let me just run that again to test it. I used box long. Actually, I'm not even that familiar with those features. I learned a lot of C, but I never really got too deep into C++. And anything past C++ 11, I just never learned. Okay, this is the case that is confusing me, because that should have a scroll bar. I should also not have a scroll bar. Boxing is a Java thing? Okay, I haven't heard that term. So unboxing is like the, is that what's meant by the assigning a piece of data to a data type? Interpret cast long pointer. Value pointed to by x is my favorite conversion. That's a pretty good choice. Now if I keep adding more, see, that seems to be correct. I wonder if it's getting overwritten, maybe. Opposite of unboxing would be using primitive types. I'll have to look up the exact definition of that. Add it to my vocabulary. Okay, it was getting overwritten, but it's also wrong. It's not right. single comment stands alone in Ocean of Code. Yeah, I guess I should add more. I may have to even change this. If it looks confusing, it's even worse than that. It's also wrong. At first I thought this would be wrong, but this should be correct based on the recent changes I made. So this quantity would be 0. And visible list area cross section would be only one list item worth of columns. Actually, this should just be 1. I wish it wasn't so much work to start up the debugger on this. It takes like 5 minutes to open the debugger on this slow computer. NGO Kong Latran says hi. How's it going? let me check that again. So that is not correct, because this it should be calculating that as 100% wide. Actually, let me there we go. It's much better. Oh, well, that's great. I can see things now. And I think it improves the acoustics. Okay. Yeah. I tricked you. You figured it out. So what I'm expecting is this. I expect that so this shouldn't appear, but if it does appear, it should be the full width. So in that case, max grid column size is that. Oh, wait a minute. Is that not used? It's not even used. And is that variable not used? Nope. It's just there to confuse you, or to confuse me. So visible exterior cross section. Taco Lara says, "Hey Robert, are we dominating today?" Yes, indeed. We're continuing with the same standard domination plans, slowly grinding away at the goals. So I guess this could be greater than technically what's actually present in the list. So this year, I don't think it's a problem. Entire list column width, that would give this. So this quantity, I think, would give a number greater than 1 when there's only one item. This variable is for correct memory alignment. Wait, which variable? H. That's a good comment. Percent offset, percent plus percent visible. I would expect that in that case would be greater than 1. Right. Now we can drink tea. It's hard to drink tea with a mask on. I'm here for favorite Linux commands. Excellent. This is definitely the right channel for favorite Linux commands. Although I haven't published any of that series in a while, unfortunately. I'd like to do more, but each of those shorts takes quite a bit of time. And I was hoping they'd bring in more revenue, but they don't. Let's see. This is one advantage of having a scrollable list that works everywhere. It should even work in the console. IDE with GUI. Yeah, command line's better, but I need the debugger in this. I want to just step through and see why the variables are wrong. But of course the downside is it takes 5 minutes to launch. Could not start virtual machine. Nice. All right. The downsides of an IDE. Oh yeah. I remember why. It's because I think this is the latest version, maybe. Yeah, this is a new build, which is broken. Actually, let me double check that. I hope. About, yeah, October 1, 2025, 2025.2.3. So we'll close that, exit. I think I tried to make a shortcut to this, and it didn't work. Yeah. So the one that actually works is from months ago. Isn't there a curses-based debugger that integrates with Vim? Maybe. I've never, I have no knowledge of it. Just use binary bug search with printf. I think it'd be difficult to do that for this bug. Like, the thing I want to know is very simple. I just want to put a breakpoint and step through that function. That was some NVim plugins. I've yet to really experiment with NVim. That'll be maybe, I don't know, the next side project. Oh, maybe that's the wrong one. What? Debugging. On running. Alright, that should work. gdb-ty is my favorite Linux command. Can you run GDB with Java programs? GDB is multilingual. I know it can do like it can compile some other C-like languages and stuff, but Java runs in the JVM, so I guess that's simple enough. I could just try it. It's really slow. That doesn't have a scroll bar. Where's my breakpoint? You're gonna put some variables to game screen and then check if they are correct. For inventory size, select them. I can just log them, but then I have to like grab the log and like it's so much easier if I can just open the debugger and then like look back at stuff. But it looks like in this screen orientation it doesn't even trigger that behavior, and for some reason the breakpoint doesn't trip. The question is why? This is why IDs are bad. Make scroll text fragment list is definitely called, because here's the scroll bar. XYZ at top, just replace they with other variables. It's not just that I don't want to just echo one thing. Like I already looked through it. It should work. So there's some piece of information that's wrong. It might be like up in the call stack, or maybe it's getting called multiple times and something's getting overwritten. That stuff is not necessarily answered quickly. Like in theory, it's supposed to be quicker with the debugger when the debugger actually works. But when it doesn't work, what can you do? Let's see. Why would the breakpoint not trip? I don't know what to do. Google AI account 1 says, hello, how's it going? I'm just trying to figure out why my list doesn't work. Is it worth trying to figure this out? Maybe we should just give up on IDEs altogether. Maybe try to debug really spelled. You're supposed to just be able to click this button and then it debugs it. Are you sure it actually reaches the breakpoints? I can't figure out how it could possibly not, because this here is where, like that scroll bar at the bottom, it was printing the scroll bar, and this is where the scroll bar is rendered. 1031. At first I clicked play run instead of debug, so maybe, but then I stopped it and restarted as debug. Finished work for the day. Just screaming virtually. Hope you're doing well. Is the software coming along? It's coming. It's I felt like I was almost done all the features I wanted a couple times, and then I thought like this doesn't quite do what I wanted. So I'll refactor it a bit, and I've been on this iterative refactoring loop, but I think I'm getting close to the end. I haven't worked on this at all during the day, but once I finish off the next video that I've been working on, then I'll just focus on this during the day to get it done. So that's the scroll bar for sure. It's got an equal sign in it, and it's clearly rendering. These are breakpoints. Go old school debugging. X equals 0. I can't. Of course, I can do all that stuff, but it'll be just nice if I can look at the state of things. Like at some point, I'm going to have some problem where I need the debugger to work, but IntelliJ is honestly, it's quite disappointing, to be honest. And I researched it before. This is like the best IDE for developing Java, from what I understand. And in that thing, it looks like it auto-updated. So it that when I first tried to run it, it said the thing about unrecognized argument. That is because in the run configurations, back sometime around July, there's two major features they broke. One is the VM options. It's not understanding when I have double quotes in the VM options. I think what it's doing is it's treating the spaces within a double quote as like delimiting, so that gets treated as the first argument, and then this is the second one, but it's all part of the same VM option. So that's one bug. And then the other bug is emulate terminal. Doesn't work. Or it doesn't respond to the cursor position. Was it cursor position request, or it was not? I think some of the terminal detection was not working. I think it was returning null for. Oh yeah, that was another difference. It was returning null for the get system.get-console, but then when I do the cursor position request, it just wouldn't respond. It would just it would hang forever. And I guess no one's filed an official bug report, so I guess it's probably just not getting fixed even in the October version. Joe Pubat says, "Help me! I'm covered in feces." Well, that's a pretty difficult situation to be in. I hope you can get that figured out. You probably shouldn't be typing stuff on the computer in that state. You're gonna just make the problem even worse. Maybe because slash is inside string. Slash, I don't think there's any slashes in this. But anyway, this bug I'm talking about here, this does not exist. This was introduced sometime around July. So I just started using the old version. and there's like no way. I tried a bunch of things. There's no way to specify the options at all. If you want to specify a VM option where there's like a space within that option, and you're using double quotes or single quotes that's around it, there's just no way to do it. It'll always send it in wrong. Yeah, I don't know what's up with this. I think I was messing with the debugger also on my other computer. And it was missing breakpoints sometimes. Or there was some, I think I remember it was doing a weird bug where it would stop at a breakpoint. And then if I do like step over, it would just hang. It would just take like forever for no reason, which is pretty awful. Basically makes it unusable. Okay, let's see if we can. Let's just do this. That's where it is. Okay, so that definitely runs. So I'm increasing width. So that should definitely call this render function. And it's not doing that. JetBrains unfortunately would rather release a new IDE than fix bugs in existing IDEs. Yeah, it's too bad. People keep asking me about using AI, and then they're like, I really should look hard at it. And then I Google for like JetBrains IDE Claude plugin, and all the reviews are 1 star. They're like, this doesn't do it. This doesn't work at all. This has been broken for 6 months. We need to try add breakpoint 1 level above. Step in. It doesn't catch on any of them. Actually, like this is 1 level above here. Render in. And I tested the behavior. That should, like, it's just not tripping the breakpoints. Maybe I'm doing something stupid. 1031. I don't have multiple projects open or something. IG releasing new shiny product makes more money. Every year they break stuff and raise the price. Been a daily user since 2018. Thinking of going back to Vim. Yeah, it's unfortunate. I mean, honestly, I just want to use the terminal. But I'm like, I don't want to be an eccentric weirdo. I should try to learn the IDE that all the normies use. But it's garbage. You can't even do it. When breakpoints tab, maybe they're disabled. Yeah, there must be something stupid I'm doing. I don't even know what that is. Breakpoints tab. Press pause and continue. pause program is in like this button, pause program. Now what? Oh, a few breakpoints. There's nothing in here I see that looks bad. Pause program and continue. There's a continue button somewhere. There's resume. Resume. I've done that several times. So every time I press W, and that's adding an element. So theoretically, it should go through all of that code and breakpoint. Very strange. It's got to be like, I mean, this can't be a bug. I might just have some stupid thing. This doesn't have the threads that I expected. And that might be due. That might be due to a flag that I'm missing in the run options. I think I have to say like no fork or something. So I can't even look at any call stacks. So step over. I guess that's parking the thread, which is why I can't step over anything there. Stack Overflow says documentation describes checkmark is shown at runtime when the breakpoint is recognized by the debugger is set on an executable code line. Describes the checkmark. The regular red dot is shown at design time during the debugging session when the class with such breakpoint is not yet loaded. You mentioned a checkmark. I don't think I've ever seen a checkmark with it always appears in the. It always appears as a circle. stepping up line by line through the class. I can't even get breakpointed onto anything. So let's end that. So this should be the entry point. So if that doesn't trip, then I will be confused. All right, so it's rendering it, and it seems to just go right through the breakpoint. Neat. That's weird. This thing, it actually made a good impression on me the first time I used it, but it seems like, and this is an old version, which it used to work. Why doesn't it work anymore? What if I just do this? Breakpoint's not there. Those breakpoints are still there. Feels like one of those dumb problems where I'm looking at the wrong file or something, or I have the wrong project open. Maybe that was it, because I think there was another project open and I opened a new project, but maybe it had a pointer to the old project. The great thing about super intelligent AI that writes code is that we will finally be able to write code. So we can write an IDE that actually works so that humans can write code. Is this the episode of Robbie TV? Yep. Look at that. Still doesn't work. code with it. What a great thing. Oh yeah, that's what I want. I want a feature where I can invite others to code with me. I don't need a debugger that works. Social networking in my IDE. Alright, let's just abandon this garbage graphical IDE. There must be... That's such a stupid problem. There must be something that I'm doing wrong. New Copilot, you would make your life easier. $10 a month for tab completion. Yeah, I'll get around to those tools eventually. Yeah, I've only been coding really in the evenings on stream. My days have been mostly taken up by the video stuff. Okay, that scroll bar is not correct. I also need to sit down with NeoVim and learn that. So at first I did have a good impression of IntelliJ, but honestly I've spent an unfortunately large amount of time just trying to learn how to get the code to work in IntelliJ. After getting Copilot, my productivity's been 10x. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, a lot of the stuff that I've been doing is like if the AI would tell me exactly where my error is here with the math on the scroll bar, that's the main thing that's slowing me down at the moment. And the debugger doesn't work, so I can't use the debugger to just step through. It would be great if we had AI that was intelligent enough to code an IDE that actually worked and didn't have bugs. So visible is area scroll cross section. So that's the width. Entire list. That looks fine. X column offset. That would be fine. So I'd expect this to be 0. And this one would be that would be something greater than 1. Percent offset plus percent visible. that would do something greater. Greater than 1. But because it would do math.min, I would get second value. So I would expect this to show just a red scroll bar, a full one. Well, the downside is you can become dependent on it. What if my subscription runs out? Feels like bricks tied to my hands. They're terminal-based copilots. Yeah, I assume NeoVim. Isn't NeoVim the standard way people do it? If I did it, I'd probably look into the whatever most people use. That's my main gripe with all this stuff. Is like it doesn't even. It's not that it's inefficient. It's like so much of this stuff's full of bugs. IDE doesn't work. The stupid AI plugin is like can't even copy and paste. Actually, let's try the debug route again. But I'll try it outside of the IDE and connect to it that way. The amount of times I've had to fight with it, tell it how wrong it is. It's crazy. Yeah, I don't want to have to do that. Is the integration good? Like, does it sometimes just like forget everything, or just like deletes all your files or something? NeoVim is a fork of Vim, so it should be pretty mature. They basically decided to throw out a bunch of backward compatibility to accelerate development. Yeah, NeoVim is the one I keep hearing about, so yeah, since I already know Vim, it sounds like the one to use. Open just one project. Yeah, I'm gonna open it again. This thing is weird because it seems like it used to work, but I don't know what's with it. Okay, that's the case I want to check. All right, that will run the program. Let's close those. Let's reload. Reload from disk. Maybe I need a Maven clean. Does not match the right version. That's not good. An unexpected error card. Target area does not match the project version, which is 24. This was in a place I always forget. Project structure. Okie doke. SDKs. Project 24. We want 21. Apply. Okay. That's because of that. Because I did a Maven clean. Do you need a new version of the ID? The new version doesn't work, so I have to use the old version because it will not run with those couple parameters. Actually, that's if I want to run it within the IDE. I guess right now I'm running it outside, but it'd be nice to, I don't know, we'll see if they ever fix that, because it worked. I put it in some effort to make sure that case worked, because I thought it was kind of an impressive case, to be able to play the game like within the terminal output of the actual IDE itself. But the fact that they disabled or they broke the JVM options parsing, that was kind of the nail in the coffin for that approach. Okay, there's the game. So now we're running it. Now this thing, oh, look at that. It breakpointed. Nice. All right, we're in business. Okay, so the first one, render vertical orientation, bottom scroll bar. Interesting. Oh, you know what? Yeah, in this function, so according to that, it does have a bottom scroll bar. So that's getting set to true, which is not expected. But even so, it shouldn't be rendering it, and it's not rendering it correctly. So percent offset is 0.0, which is not what I expect. I expect it to be a value greater than 0. Oh no, percent offset, that's correct. But this thing, that should be greater 0.36. That's not what I expect. 41 divided by 111. Interesting. Entire list column width. Is vertical is false. So it's running get ending offset. Oh, that might be wrong because let's run it again. What's going on? They're local. Have you tried turning it off and back on again? That's what I'm doing right now. Now I want to watch IT Crowd again. Step over, step over, step into. All right, n has a value of 7. Why is it 7? Grid width is 8. Why is it 8? That's weird. That is not the thing that I expected. And that's 3. Why is it 3? That's crazy. Total madness. Where's my function where I set those? Recalculate constants. Also, this was wrong too. Let's look at this whole function. Split it up, make the calculation their own variable, make it easier to debug. Total width, the width is supposed to be, at least I think, if depending on, I'm trying to make this list do a lot of things at once. So I might have forgotten what I was trying to accomplish, but in this case, my expectation is it should just be should have a width of 1 and a height of 1, because there's only one element. And the fact that it thinks there's a scroll bar and it thinks it's 8 by 3 is not correct. What do you think of using the var keyword for defining local variables in Java? Is that a thing now? I'm not even up to speed with that. I keep adding new features and I don't learn the new stuff that comes out. I have a hard enough job learning the stuff that existed years ago. Also, why are you not using enhanced for loops? I'm not even sure what that refers to, enhanced for loops. Pirate software style? What style exactly is that? Everything is wrong? It's true. Everything is broken and wrong all the time. Okay, max adjacent lists is 8. The list size is 0. Let's see what this is doing. 0. 25. That makes sense. That makes sense. Actually, I don't really even care about this case. That's when it has size 0. Oh. Okay, so we just added an item. So the list has one element. It's 1. That makes sense. So does it have a right scroll bar? Okay, that's the right answer. That's the wrong answer. Grid width times 8. Okay. Okay, that's back to I have this like circular dependency on some of this. So it's using the value of grid width that was determined in the first render pass, which is not correct. So I have like a circular dependency with, which makes sense because when I add to maximally use all of the screen real estate, I have to know if there's a scroll bar or not. I have to when there's no need for a scroll bar, then I can use that area. But when I add the scroll bar, the items get smaller. So it's I have to like determine and calculate all this in advance. But it's using the variable from the previous render pass. It's the grid width, which is not, it's just using 8. Lots of. You could do var x equals 10. The compiler infers that x is an int. Okay. I didn't even know that. I might have read that somewhere, but forgot about it. When would it be better to use an inferred type rather than explicit? I guess just makes it easier. There's a lot of people trying to make Java a scripting language. Better stop procrastinating. Have a good stream. Have a good night. I think grade variables are only for memory alignment. Grade variables are only for memory alignment. I've never really thought about memory alignment in Java. Why is it underlined? Good question. By enhanced for loop, I mean syntax that looks like for type index : array. Oh, yeah, I do use that in some cases. Some cases, depending on what I'm doing. Like sometimes I want to do math. I'll do like for int I, because I actually want the number for some math to reach something. Game Dev Chad says, cheers, how are things? Not too bad. I'm making progress figuring out my bugs. Memory alignment, didn't know Java had this much low-level memory control. Yeah, same. What is the temperature? The temperature is 1. Thank you for asking. Variables for memory alignment means if variable isn't used. I don't know if those are the same thing at all. Why is it 1? That's just always what I answer to that question. Why 8 is 8? It's just because it is. Alright, this has not been an incredibly productive night, but let's spend lots of time screwing around with debuggers. But yeah, this made me reflect. Yeah, I can't have grid height in this. You work in such a small screen, this would drive me crazy. Yeah, it kind of drives me crazy too. Because 987, excellent joke. Ephemeral Waterloo temperature unit, I guess. At least close unused panes. Yeah, I guess I kind of can use that one, but that one get rid of. So I have to, before I can do anything that makes sense, I have to fix this circular dependency on the variable grid width of deciding what that is. So max adjacent list, that's going to be in a constant. But max items in adjacent list column max visible floor. depends on the width, but that can change if there is a scroll bar. But to figure out if there's a scroll bar, I have to figure out the width, how many, what the grid width is. Nice. If you say so. I have to reflect here more on what I actually want to do. I want to display the list items as large as they can be with minimal scroll bars. I guess that was simpler in one dimension, because then maybe it's time to rewrite everything. Not again. I already rewrote everything a bunch of times. I think this approach is this is the best approach so far. This also, I think, is incomplete too. Let's run that. Because another feature that I wanted it to have would be, as you make it bigger, oh, maybe it is doing that. As you make the screen bigger, it should. See, it's got 1, 2, 3, 4. It's rendering slow. Okay, yeah. It only has 4. 4 rows above and below. That's good. It's still playable at this resolution. World is loading slower than I'd expect. Yeah, this is on my the physically local computer I'm working on. So it's much slower. It's a pretty old laptop. So I think I've identified some of the core issues here. I need to think more clearly about what I want to accomplish here. I feel like I almost need like a like brute forcing algorithm where just like I guess the first most important thing, the first dependency in here is I need to know what is the width of the item, width and the height of the item, but I'm making that depend on I want to try and get it to fit on the screen within some constraints, reasonable constraints. But then as the available space gets bigger, I want it to just like auto scale up. So I may have to try something a little bit smarter there. Something that will not rely on this variable. Need some time to recompile shaders. Yep. That's what it's doing. Yeah, so this variable here is basically, it's a circular dependency. And what some of my weird behavior there was because it was just using the value for this that was calculated from the previous rendering. which was out of date and not correct. There are different shaders for vertical and horizontal orientation. I don't know if I call them shaders. I guess maybe you could call them that. I originally tried to just do it in one code path, but then it just got too complicated, and then there were just too many differences. And the second time I rewrote it with the grid thing, I think that that's a much better approach. That made a lot of the code paths the same. Yeah, this whole function is kind of a problematic. I'm calculating. Yeah. So in this function, I'm calculating this. I'm calling this. So I calculate a test width, and then I calculate it again after I know if there's a scroll bar. So that's another circular dependency in here. Because this thing these values depend on whether there's a scroll bar or not. So the function that determines if there's a scroll bar relies on whether there's a scroll bar or not. Why is if underlined on 500? It's a good question. Let's get down to the bottom of that mystery. 500. If statement can be simplified. Yeah. I guess it's not wrong. I'll probably leave it that way. Bit more explicit if I need to change it in the future. If true, return false, else return true. It's not even that. It's if true, return true, else return false. It's even simpler. If is list empty. Yeah, I got a bunch of those. Like when people talk about applications for AI, these are the kinds of things that I think would be like good AI enhancements. Like stuff like rewriting this. That, I guess it depends on the compiler and stuff. That might be faster. But if you could use AI to catch like 1 million of these types of things and just like auto reformat them. Why 8 is 8? You asked that before. And what was the answer? It was because 789 or 798. Okay, let me think. Yeah, I should probably fix this circular dependency issue before I waste any more time debugging the scroll bar. Well, tonight was not a particularly productive night, but I think I deleted some unused variables, and I figured out once again that IntelliJ is not reliable. Why 8 is 8? It's work for optimizer. I don't know, that sounds like nonsense to me. Unless it's a clever joke I'm just not picking up on. All right, with that, I think I'll probably call it a night. And the next thing to work on will be to figure out that circular dependency that's causing bugs and making it difficult to debug. And then I think once that's fixed, the scroll bar, the vertical scroll bar, double scroll bar thing will be working. And then I can just basically copy and paste that so it works in the horizontal direction as well. Yeah, and then I think so, still going to be a few minor bugs before this double scrolling list is totally finished. But I'll fix those as I need to. All right, have a good night, guys.